Hey, what's up guys? This is Pablo, or El Brasilero as gamers know me, and I'm bringing you one more video this week regarding something that people is been asking a lot since the last patch 1.8 update, and that is how to eliminate or how to reduce the bleeding on what it is in these days the most deadly build in the game. Yes, we all know we're talking about Predator's Mark and the bleeding that is like causing terror on the Dark Zone, and that just a few builds are able to deal with it. So
If you patch me into the
let's
security
let's
system,
make
I might be
clear
able to find
something,
Candle's
guys.
location.
This video is not about how to eliminate the bleeding, because that is something that is not possible. I mean, the Predator's build has one thing that is make you bleed, and you will not be able to take that away from the build, or it will like make the build like useless. So we're talking about here about reducing the bleeding, so like so you can like be able to survive a confrontation with one of these builds and not die in the spot, as normally happens when the Predator's builds will apply the 100% to 100% extra bleeding on top of all the bleedings that they already had. So as you can see in the introduction that I put in the video, I asked one of my good friends, Maximus, to use his Predator build to shoot me. And I started using my actually one of my favorite builds, that is my Nomad. And after he shot me, you could see the damage that it was inflicted by the Predator. That was like around now 90,300 point damage. And in that build I was running at 22% of the protection that I'm gonna show you right now, that you have to use to diminish the bleeding on predators. Now on the second part of the video, I am with the build that I'm gonna show you right now, and with that one I have 80% of that protection, and the difference on damage, as you could see on the introduction, was huge. I mean, with my Nomad and the 22% protection, I got 90,300 point of damage of bleeding, and with the second build, using 80% of protection, I got only 26,000. So as you can see, it's a huge difference. It's around like almost 70,000 point less of damage. That in confrontation with this build, it could help you to survive. It could mean the difference between you being laying down in the floor dead, or like you being able to use like med kit and keep fighting, surviving, and hopefully putting down that predator player. Now, let's start with the predator build, because to be able to counteract this build, we need to understand what it does. So Predator's build, besides the extra damage that it will give you on your assault rifle or SMG, we have the bleeding that it will inflict on you, that it will be 50% extra bleeding with 10 shot, without missing 10 shots in the target. Okay, now with this new update we got up to 120% extra on top of that if the predator build that you're fighting has at least 9,000 of stamina, which is most of the cases in these days. I mean, people want to take advantage of this, and they are using it at its most. So yes, people is running, I've seen people running even 10,000 on stamina, which increase the bleeding on the predator. The more stamina you have, the more bleeding. So now this is something very important right here, because I've seen players like trying to uh, counteract this bleeding with the bleeding protection that we used to have until actually this update, that is making that protection useless. Okay, as we can see right there, it says the predator mark ignores the target's bleed resistance the damage over time to the target is increased by 15% for every 3000 stamina and can critically hit the target. Now, so no matter if you got like in all your equipments like bleed resistance, this new update of the Predator will actually ignore that. I mean, it's like you have no protection at all. You will bleed, and you will bleed to death if you have not the right build. Now, now that we explain a little bit how it works. Now let me change to the build that I want to show you, so we can start working on that, and I will show you in detail what you need to do to increase your protection and to be able to sustain, like I said, more amount of tiny bleeding damage. Okay guys, so here I am with the build that I want to show you, and that build is Final Measure. Now, Final Measure in these days has the most resilience against exotic damage, and that is the protection that I was mentioned to you, that it will help you to sustain more damage with bleeding. Why? Well, as we stated, the bleeding protection that we have and that we used to put in all our stuff to avoid bleeding, previous updates, is no longer working with Predator Mark. I already show you that that is being ignored by the build, by the class. So the only thing that in this update is helping you to sustain less bleeding damage is exotic damage resilience. Now, I've seen videos of people doing nomads and putting in them a lot of mods, as you can see, like this one, that it will give you 2.5 exotic damage resilience, but you can get only 5 of those. Okay, there will be 2 in the chest and the vest, 1 in the mask, 1 in the knee pad, and 1 in the backpack. That is 12.5% extra exotic resilience protection. Now, of course, you can get also in the vest exotic damage resilience up to 13% on the new classified sets. So you also can get it in your mask and in your knee pad. So roughly a nomad can get like around 40% extra resilience protection, but still, you know, like with the build that you can get like the most amount of protection is with this one, the Final Measure. The reason is simple. Final Measure, as we all know, it came already with that protection with it, and we used to get it previous updates with only 2 pieces of the set. You already got 25% exotic damage resilience, and now with the last update, when they released this like 2 global events ago, you get to have another boost of exotic damage resilience when you get 5 pieces equipped. So that will give you a 15% more, which it will come to a total of 40%. Okay, so with those 40%, that will be like I said, like a nomad or any other class will be able to get if it's set up to get the max of this resilience damage. Now we got the 40%, and as I show you in all my pieces, I get these mods that they come with health, okay, and also 2.5 exotic resilience damage. That will increase another 12.5% of that damage, the resilient damage, and then we have the vest with 10.5 exotic resilient damage, the mask, and the knee pads. Okay, with all that, your character will come up with 80% of exotic resilient damage. Now, that means that from all the damage that you will receive, 80% will be diminished, will decrease. Okay, so it is a huge number, guys. Now remember, I haven't I haven't maxed my equipments, so there is like more than like a few, like 1 or 2 points that I can get more in the mask and in the knee pads, and that will increase almost until 85%. That is a huge amount of protection against this deadly bleeding that we are having with this predator mark. Okay, now that is the difference, like I said, between you being dead or being able to stay alive and fighting. Now, as you can see, and you may be wondering why I'm not using the 6 pieces on this build. Not because I don't have it, you can see right here that I have it, but this build I don't use it as a PV for PVE. If you are gonna use it for doing missions, legendaries, incursions, yes, it's very good to have the 6 pieces because you get the extra protection for you and your teammates of with against grenades. And we all know that the NPCs will like throw you as many as they can, and you will be constantly giving a boost to yourself and your team. Now in the dark zone, running rogue, hunting main hunts, and yeah, I mean it's constantly you're running either like to get them or to try to get away from them, and there's not many grenades that they are tossed at you that can affect you and that you'll not be able to dodge. So I think that these six piece in the set is not very useful for me in the dark zone, and that is why I'm using this vest, the Barrett's bulletproof vest. And the reason is that um, I will be able to increase by 5% my damage when I use one of my abilities, and 10% of my armor if I use both of them. Okay, so if you're in a battle and then you're getting a lot of damage, you got the 80% resilience, plus you pop 2 of your abilities and you get another 10 extra percent damage, not against the bleeding but against the damage itself that the weapon is doing to you. Okay, so this is how I have set up. As you can see, I got 6,000 firearms, almost 7,000 in stamina, with 508 toughness, and electronics barely almost 3,000. I don't really use electronics much, so I don't put that much. So it's a balanced build that it will help you a lot in the dark zone. Um, Now, this is another thing that many people don't know. Now, Predator Mark will not, I mean, the support station will not remove the bleeding on a Predator Mark with this new update. Now, if you are in the radius of the support station, you will not get the bleeding removed. Now, if you step out of the radio of the green circle that you see around the support station and you go back into that radio, the bleeding status will start getting removed. So that is another tool that you can use to help you to stay alive and fight this bleeding. Also, you can explode it, as everybody knows, and you will like give you extra health. Now, this is another thing to help to fight this build. Is we all know that predators need to hit you 10 times with 10 bullets in order to for you to bleed. Now, this boost not only will give you 50% extra protection against damage, not the bleeding, just the damage, but it gives you a 30% extra speed in the movement. That is huge, because if you start moving fast and doing zigzag and the predator guy is not able to hit you 10 times, the bleeding will not apply. That means that there is a big chance that somebody else will get in his path and he will start shooting that other person. So he will need to start all over with you, and you will be constantly avoiding getting the bleeding. And at last, I use these poles in all my builds, almost all my builds, because I love it. Because these poles not only will hide you in the map when you're rogue or when you're manhunt, but in a battle it will help you to counteract the majestic is dying, the critical hit damage that they will get extra with their pulse. So basically they will do the pulse, and the people have very very strong pulses, and they will get you like 10-12% extra critical hit damage on top of what they have. Well, these pulse will like avoid that. It will help you to get that out of the equation, so you will be getting a lot less damage. So this is the setup that I have right there. And then on my talents, I have this one that when I use the medic kit, you get a damage resilience 20% for 10 seconds. That also can help you escape in a fight and survive. This one, because I always play with teammates, so this will help my whole team. So if you have a team that you know and you're all running together and you're used to play together and you stay close in a fight, whoever is using the kit, you are all getting constantly heals. Okay, that is a very good one too. Well, and this one, of course, to cool down my abilities when I'm low in health. The one that I like to use also is like on the move, because every time that you kill a player, you get you reduce 15% extra, 50% your income damage for 10 seconds. So basically now the only thing that I'm gonna show you is what I'm using on my weapons. As you can see, I have two house, which is, I love this weapon. It's a very good weapon. The reason what I'm using two, I mean, it's not that hard to guess. I mean, when I'm running out of bullets, I will switch to the next one, and I will still have the same weapon with an amazing amount of damage. Now, in my first one, I have the responsive, and this one the sustain, to help me, to give me to get more health. And if I see that I'm getting low in health, I will switch to this one and try to aim to the head. And also with the unforgiving, every bar that I lose, I start doing more and more damage. So if I have only one bar and I'm about to die, I will get 25% extra, plus the 12% if I hit them in the head, plus the 20% that the house have. That will increase your damage like around 57%, which is a huge amount of damage, and it could help you very well to survive as well until you're able to get a med kit or like adrenaline or something to help you to stay alive. So guys, this is pretty much the build that I want to share with you. I hope you like it. Please, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like. Thank you very much, and please feel free to leave comments or questions in the comment section. And if you really enjoyed the video, you also can share it with friends or family that also play the game. Thank you very much. Until my next video, this is Pablo, El Brasilero, and have a very nice hunting.